Hi everybody, welcome to the Mom series, The Misunderstanding of Multiplicity. My name is Maria. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. Okay, so I said I would come back and show you this hat I am working on called the TTREE Hook Hat. This girl looks so much like a cousin of mine. It's making me double take every time I look. I'm like, okay, so I'm not using the yarn they're using, and I talked about it in the previous video, but I wanted to show you. This is Super Saver Cafe Latte, large pound there. I wanted to just show you that this is crochet, but there are many stitches you can do if you are somebody that crochets but you love the look of knitted. This is one of them that just by doing a little bit of slip stitching in different loops of the chain, you can create a knitted look. So if you look at this right here, this looks very much like the knit stitch, but it's crocheted. If you look at this here, it looks very much like purling, but it's crocheted. So how, pray tell, did we do this? Okay, so this pattern is really awesome. It's designed by Bendy Carter. It's featured over at knitandcrochetnow.com. It is crochet episode 1104A9V. It's called the TTREE HOOK HAT. You use a medium 4, no matter what they tell you, just get the gauge. You're going to use 3 hooks. If you're working on a smaller or medium, you might not need that 3rd hook for part of it. You're working into the back spine. You know, my lighting wasn't good on my last video. Back spine to begin with. The most important thing about this pattern is follow the bold lettering where it says turn, turn, and now you're on the right side of the wrong side, or join, or don't join, and don't turn. That's the most important part, because what they have us doing is going, like say, in this direction around for a couple rows, and then not turning, doing one continuous, and not slip stitching. In other rows, they have us turning and slip stitch joining. This ribbing is all created by working front post, back post, double crochet. Okay. And these are all created, every single one you see, by working front loop and either turning or not turning, and the back loop. So crochet hook a crochet stitch has, just like a knit stitch, a front loop, a back loop. Depending on how they have you turning it, say you turn this way, your front loop would be right here. Your back loop would be right here. But if they have you continue to go around and around and around, you will end up with what looks like a knit purl stitch. And on this side, it looks like a knit stitch. So it's really cool, and all you're doing is slip stitching. All you're doing. And then some of these you're doing half double crochets. And that's all you're doing. And so it's just really important in the beginning, you are on the right side of the row. And you're going to place a stitch marker there, just so you remember. That's the front, that's the right side. As you're going, let's just say, not the front, but that's the right side. So let me just put it on and show you what I mean. It shouldn't curl in like that. I'm going to be blocking it and then we'll fix it. So this is going in, but it will come out like this. Okay. So it's turning in only because all my hats do that. And then when I wash them, it will go the way they should. All right, so you can see what it's going to do. Get this out of the way, right? So in the way. So that's the way it goes. But when I get done with this, I'm going to have to like flip it, dip it in water and shape it because it wants to curl in. It wants to go this way. Also, as I'm working this, I'm going to be doing more of this in between, and that's going to pull this up. So it'll be up. This is how it will look. So I just wanted to come back and show you how it's looking in case you really want to make this a lot of fun. And it's so simple. Okay. I cut my hair today. It was definitely time to get back to me. The me I recognize, which is with just a little bit shorter and a little wispiness. I'm not so sure I'm actually gonna color my hair because I kind of like the dimension the natural gray coming in is giving me. Looks patchy in some areas, but I just washed my hair, that's how it looks. And that's it. That's what I'm doing today. And I will start working on the beret. Well, I have like 3 things going at once because I'm still assembling a couple of things. I wanted to get a lot of crochet and knitting done today. The only thing I really want to talk about with people is regarding MPD DID is, God, I don't know how to say this without sounding preachy or self-righteous or judgmental or like I'm not validating others' experiences. What I want to say is do not give your life to being multiple. Do not best you can try not to over understand it. That's what I want to say. Try not to apply meaning to every single thing, every feeling and twitch and emotion and thought that comes in your head and new talent, new thing you get an idea to do. And maybe it didn't work out, or maybe it did, and you're really great at it. Try to really own that as your own and not assign it to different parts and broken pieces that you're separated from. And in speaking to that, I want to just talk about integration a little bit. Integration has always been like the dirty word of DID MPD, right? People, there's so much confusion about integration. We've seen it on TV dramas like Sybil and 3 Faces of Eve, and it looks so easy, doesn't it, right? Okay, well, what's important is not to overthink it. And what's even more important is what we believe is true is true. So if we believe we're coming together and we're whole and we're okay, then we are. This little baby's going to be 10 years old tomorrow. He likes to come say hello in the videos. Dustin is my cat. No, you can't get by my knitting. Or crocheting. So I wanted to say to Jess at Multiplicity and Me, and Jake, and Jamie, and Ed, and Oliver, and everyone that encompasses Jess. Wait a minute. I'm not shy. I'll use my cat clippers. Yes, I will. Yeah. Yeah. See how easy it is? Yeah. Woman cutting hair with cat clippers. See my family gone. Anyways, Jess embarked on a journey of wanting to integrate, and she has a very popular system group channel content creator out here on YouTube, informational from the UK of what DID has been for her. And she is also a psychology student, and now she is married, and she is a mother of two. And she made the decision to, with her therapist, really work on integrating the boys, the men, the male alters that she had been with from a child. And I think what happens is like a TV show, or like people get fond of a character in a TV show. A lot of people that were following Jess and Ed and Jamie and Oliver and Jake, and their husband Gaz, and their two little girls and their family and everything. Some people related to certain aspects of Jess, and she was very open with, this is how I'm living, positively plural, with more than one, high functioning, with the support I need, with my husband who understands, with my parents that understand, with a doctor that understands, with all the resources I need, going to university, becoming a mom. And she really realized, her and her husband, that because she was multiple, she needed to allow the system to be very much a part of her parenting. And I mean, I think what it really came down to is wanting to just be one mom for her kids, which is the goal everyone goes for when, I mean, nobody wants to make their kids crazy with, a whole bunch of different moms or anything, right? Um, just, I made a statement about I didn't have the luxury of Multiplicity and Me, of having people that understood and a husband that was there that could take on the responsibility when things were changing, or I didn't have all those resources that come right into your home like they do in the UK. I want to take that back and say it doesn't matter. What Jess decided to do is integrate, and some people thought, well, how did she integrate that quick? Well, she had one big memory and suddenly all the guys integrated with her? No, she had been integrating for quite some time. And again, it's what we believe. So, and also, I want to speak to how the community out here reacted to Jess integrating, which was kind of crazy. I recognize it. And so we have to be careful of subcultures and that kind of thinking, that we think one way or else you don't get it. So the common thought has been, well, you don't need to integrate. And the internet dogma in communities of MPD DID has been, you don't need to integrate. You can function with all of your parts, aspects. It's going to be in shock for a minute or two. Aspects, ego states, and they make up you, so it's okay. Here's the flip side, though. They also say, well, you can't possibly know what your other alter aspect part ego state is doing, because then you don't have DID anymore. You have to have the amnesia in between it. If you So the interesting thing is, in teaching you to integrate, they teach you, the doctors, to the learned ones, the experts, to communicate with your alters, aspect, ego, states, parts of yourself. They ask you to connect to the emotions. They ask you to connect to all those feelings you ran away from to survive when you disassociated. They ask you to connect back to those feelings, to own them, and to not need an alter aspect, part, persona to carry that for you anymore. That's what Jess has done. And it's brave and it's beautiful. And that's what many of us do. And we start with small merging and fuses and combos. Maybe one or two aspects still, are around the parameter, and we recognize that, and then we deal with it. And the community treated Jess as though she killed her alters. They compared her to a person having an abortion. They told her she had no respect for all the trauma they took for her. Not all alters aspect egos, and I was saying this to DissocaDID, did a video the other day about the littles in system groups. I said not all alter aspect egos are created from trauma. They're really not. That's a whole nother video. You can wish a thing to be if you need it. I mean, in that respect, yes, from a trauma, but how do we explain so many system groups that have fictives? TV characters that they grew up loving and emulating and now are in their system. Some could say, well, that's just like cosplay, it's just like role play. But no, if your friend was the TV or a storybook, and there was a hero in that book or story, you could grow up thinking, well, Batman will come any minute, or Superman, or your dog might be Lassie, or you might think you had, I don't know, Andy Griffith. You could somebody, a sheriff in town. I don't know, but you could incorporate all those things, including anime characters, Ninja Turtles, all those cartoon things. People have them in their system. They really do. Favorite dolls? I know one gal, her system group, she has a Chrissy in her system, and it's named after a Chrissy doll. Chrissy doll was a doll with hair that you could play with, curl and cut, and pull out of her head and put it back up short and do things to. She loved to play with hair. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be as complicated as sometimes the founders made it to be. And I just think we should respect when a person decides to integrate. Most times it's happening naturally before they even start using tools to assist them or really talk it out with a therapist. They're ready. Just like when we go to therapy, we pretty much do know what happened. There isn't any real repressed memory. Like I remember when Jess did her video about finally having a memory of remembering her grandparents when she was younger and how much her grandparents raised her and what happened, the trauma that made them go away, and how her life changed because of that. Some might say, well, okay, she was able to integrate because she remembered, but she always knew that. She knew that information. She just separated from the emotions of it and started to have a lot more memory. So for the people out there that have been like dogging her, for integrating, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. And for DissocaDID, what I see happening is a lot of uncertainty and fear and trust issues with coming back on her channel after all that's happened, and creating content and just being super careful and wanting to be super transparent and discuss everything, and maybe applying too much meaning to things that aren't. And I just think we need to hold space for people that are trying to figure it all out, and respect each other's decisions. Integration, if it happens, can happen naturally, spontaneously, or as a process, like I said, as you get older. A lot of doctors will tell you this. If you were maybe diagnosed as a teen, 20, 30, by the time you're 50, 60, 70, you're not so separate from all your parts anymore. You're coming together, getting to know yourself. You're finding yourself, and the things that stressed you out don't anymore. The things that matter don't anymore. And they naturally go away. And so you thank them for the place they had in your life, and you honor that they existed, and you move forward. And I just don't think anybody should be dogging a person for integrating. That's all I wanted to say. And I also don't think that if a person hasn't reached integration yet, that they failed. They're just in the process, and everybody's on their own journey. Now I've said all I want to say. I hope that you'll try making a text. It's so much fun. A little bit of weaving. You get a feel of it's relaxing. And I mean, that is kind of a purl look. And this is kind of a knit look, but it's crochet, which is really cool. So, it's just a fun pattern, so I wanted to remind you about that, and I'll put the pattern notes in. I think it's brilliantly designed. So you can get the pattern at Ravelry, at Bendy Carter's Ravelry. You can get the pattern at Knit and Crochet Now, Annie's Designs. So, catalog, signature design. All right, that's my video. Happy Sunday. Have a great one. Bye-bye.